Here come the boys. Y'all ready to go swimming, baby? Come on. Give it up. Get out of that water. I tried telling y'all, it's swim lessons, baby.
Welcome back to Champion Week here on Swim Lessons, the podcast. My name is Dallas Hanson. Thank you for choosing us wherever, however today. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, give us a like, and share this one with friends and family. Very simple thing to do. It takes you about 10 seconds just to hit that subscribe button. It greatly helps us here at Swim Lessons. But my guest today is Dan Glauser. Coach Glauser is the head boys basketball coach for Dickinson High School. He's done a great job, and we talked about how to build up this program at Dickinson High, how it's been his life, how it's revolved around the game of basketball, and also how it's been coaching his sons. And it's not an easy thing to do, but I think he does a great job. And I just like to wish the Dickinson High Midgets on a great WDA tournament. And I wish them the best, and I appreciate Coach Glauser. We got to film it in the gym, which is also always really cool. So appreciate them and best of luck. But before we get to Coach Glauser, we got to talk about PSP Network. It's game day, baby. They are right now in the heart of tournament season. So whether you're a hockey fan or basketball fan, PSP Network will have that for you. All you got to do, folks, is go to www.psp.network. On there, they'll have a link for PSP Plus. And you got to buy it, but it's fantastic work. It's state-of-the-art ESPN style, if you will, of broadcasting. I'm going to be a part of a few of the broadcasts there for PSP. We got this big plan for WDA, which I'm stoked for. You got to tune in for that. So make sure you subscribe to PSP Network. It's on YouTube at PSP Network, also on Facebook, PSP. So appreciate Nick Holberg and the crew. And what we're going to do, or what they're going to do, is do Class B, Class A, and Class AA, all the tournaments and more, and you can buy them all in one package. So make sure you check that out. That's at PSP Network. Appreciate them. And next is, I like this place. That's River's Edge Bar and Grill, located in Williston, North Dakota. They are known for offering the best happy hour in town, providing unbeatable deals in a lively atmosphere. Guests can also enjoy a variety of entertaining activities, including bingo, trivia, and the very popular Name That Tune. Come down to River's Edge for great drinks, great food, and great fun. And then it's Glosso Angus, a proud sponsor of Swim Lessons. They're your premier source for registered Black Angus cattle since 1973. Glosso Angus cattle showcase dominance, durability, and docility, and they're built to thrive on the northern plains. Check them out. That's Glosso, Glasoe, Angus.com. And then Game Day Media. More than a game, your leader in live video sports coverage in Northwest North Dakota. At Game Day Media, our goal is to expose, support, and promote the best athletes that North Dakota has to offer. Subscribe to their channel at Game Day Media ND on YouTube. Find them on Facebook at Game Day Media for schedules, quick links to games and stats, everything you need to know about that favorite student athlete of yours. Hey folks, also make sure you check out Plains Window Cleaning, interior and exterior window cleaning on residential and commercial buildings throughout North Dakota. Call Jacob today at 701-609-0405. Again, that's Jacob Broughton at Plains Window Cleaning. Appreciate all those sponsors. And I give you now a very fun, insightful conversation with the head boys basketball coach of Dickinson High, Dan Glauser. Coach, thanks for meeting me on an early, nice, frosty morning. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here.
We were talking before this. So you moved to Dickinson when you were, what'd you say, second grader?
Second grade, yep.
But before that, you were at New England.
Yes.
So then you make the 30-mile move. How was the move?
I was obviously pretty young, but I started in Newtown. And
really?
Yeah, my dad was coaching in Newtown. Actually won a state title at Newtown
High.
Coach. Yep.
Eagles.
The Eagles. Their last state championship.
Wow.
And then he got hired at New England St. Mary's, and we moved down there, and then he got the job here to coach basketball here at Dickinson High, and we moved here when I was in second grade, and been here a long time. That's for sure. I left for college a couple years, went to Moorhead State, but I always just kind of find myself coming back here. Love the place, love the community, love the people, love the hunting, love the fishing. So it's hard to get away, that's for sure.
Well, I can see why you love it. I mean, I've covered 4 games now here. The gym's been packed every time. And the atmosphere, every away coach that I talk to, oh man, we got to go Dickinson. Dickinson's a tough place to play. They play so well there. And you guys do. What do you think makes your teams play so well here?
I think it's a different atmosphere. Obviously, Jim's one of the older ones in the state, and it's seen a lot of great basketball. That's for sure. A lot of great individuals, a lot of great teams, a lot of great coaches before me. That's for sure. And we pride ourselves on putting a good product on the floor, something that the fans want to come and watch. And when we're competitive and given the great effort that we're used to giving, I think the fans appreciate that. They have a great basketball knowledge, and they've seen a lot of good basketball, so they understand what it takes, and I think they just appreciate the athletes and the students and just the effort that they put out on the floor.
Well, you touched on something there, competitive. This WDA right now in North Dakota, I think this is the most wide open it's been in a long time. What's your thoughts right now on the WDA?
It's a grind. Yeah, that's just it. I'm exhausted right now. This February is killing me, but you have a big win on Friday and you get to enjoy it for 12 minutes, and then you get ready for the next one that you got to play on Tuesday, and then it just starts over all again. It's it's a horrible Groundhog Day is what it is.
Yeah.
But you don't really have the time to enjoy it. You don't really have the time to swell in your faults or whatever it may be. But it's just picking yourself back up. It's getting back after it. It's looking at the next opponent. It's you continuing to grind and get better and try to show up every day at practice and just be, that 1% better than the day before. And right now that's kind of the goal, especially coming in towards the end of the year.
Well, Dickinson High is very interesting because Nolan Widner, he's the one senior you kind of play a lot. He's a nice player defensively. I mean, you were talking before me and you jumped on. Yeah. He guards the best player night in and night out. Great shooter. How nice is it to have a senior leader like Nolan?
To be honest with you, I didn't really appreciate it at the beginning of the season as much as I should have. I mentioned to the team that his guy that he guarded for 6 straight games before last night, he held them under his average.
Wow.
And those are like all-state caliber players. That's the amazing thing. And I think towards the beginning of the season, our defensive philosophy was a lot more help and a lot, concentrating on guys that we needed to stop. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that Nolan had the ability to hold them down so well. Not only that, but go and get 18 points, 20 points a night. That and not a bunch of volume either. That's the thing with Nolan. He not only doesn't force it, he's willing to give that extra pass and just take what the defense gives him. I've spent a lot of time with Nolan, not even in Dickinson, but the AAU and all that stuff, and watched him play it a lot. And for some reason, it just took me a while. But I'm glad I'm where I'm at right now and realizing what before the season's over.
Yeah.
So it's nice, definitely nice to show the team how you're able to help on both sides of the court, how you can do other things besides just make a basket to help your team be successful.
As a coach, when you're in literally the toughest league in the state, how do you go, or what do you say to the team prep-wise? Okay, guys, I know we just beat Minot. Now we got to go play Legacy. Now we got to go play Mandan. How do you what's your approach as a head coach? One of my favorite questions, to try to get the team to not only gather themselves, but to try to amp yourself up and go into those tough gyms like a Mandan, like a Bismarck High, to try to get a big win. Because right now there's a little bit of a log jam from 3 to 6, and you guys are kind of in that rank from 3 to 6. So what do you say to the kids to try to get them to go up?
I think right now with our team and our program right now, that's the biggest challenge that I'm trying to figure out, to be honest with you. I think we have all the physical capabilities to be able to be competitive and be successful in this league. And we're kind of, like you said, we're stuck in the middle. We have good nights. We have bad nights. What does it take, mentally? What kind of approach are you looking at it mentally? And we're talking about 16, 17, 18-year-old kids too. So, that's the biggest challenge that I have right now. You know, you get a huge win against Minot, and how do you come back to practice on Monday and be prepared to play Legacy? And then you have a letdown, and now what are you going to do the next game? It's just a constant battle trying to figure out how to approach it. And the biggest thing is, you know, you want to have blinders on because of the next opponent, but you also are looking at the WDA tournament. And it's so hard to go back and forth. You know, next is Mandan. Okay, well, what if we play Mandan the first round? You know, what do we want to show them? What you know, is it the most important game of the year? Probably not, but it's important because of where you're going to be, and to make sure that kids know that, you know, you can be competitive against them. You know, so that's the other thing is trying to find a happy medium and having fun in the whole process too. That gets lost a lot because, like I said, the Groundhog Day and doing this thing over and over again, and that's what I find my biggest challenge personally as the coach is. I got a handful of wonderful kids, wonderful students, wonderful people, and you know, it's sometimes you might go a couple days of taking for granted and asking yourself, you know, why are you frustrated? You know, you get to show up and be with these kids for an hour and a half, and they're trying to give you everything they can. They really are. And that might not be what you're looking for, what you're wanting that particular day, but it's not like they're going out there to try to let you down. And those are the kind of kids that we have, and I think that's the biggest joy that I lose. Looking at the big picture is that, you know, Nolan's going to be successful after this basketball season because of the type of kid he is, because of the attitude, because of the great head on his shoulders. And we have two other seniors that are in the same boat. So, you know, that's always the challenge too, is you don't want to take for granted what you get to come to practice to every day.
One thing I personally love that you do as a coach is you play a lot of man-to-man, but then out of a timeout, hold the phone. Here comes a 1-3-1 zone. Here comes a 2-3. And I noticed, and this is not a knock against Coach Madden or anybody like that, but he calls a timeout, sets out an out of bounds play for man. But wait, Dickinson High, now they're in a 1-3-1. Okay, now we got to switch it up. And I mean, is that something you've always had kind of in your repertoire when it comes to coaching, and just kind of throw some different looks at teams?
Yeah, it has been. And I guess I've kind of been lucky because having some sons in the program and being able to coach them since, you know, second grade and travel ball and stuff, you just kind of throw different things out there. You know, these guys have been running a 1-3-1 since probably sixth grade or something like that. So it's something that we don't really practice a whole lot. I don't like spending a lot of time practicing a 2-3 zone, but, you know, we can also throw our full court press in when we feel we need to pick up the pressure a little bit. It's not something that we do practice every day, to be honest with you, but it is something that they're able to do and be pretty successful at. But I think in order to be successful in this league, you have to have a solid man-to-man defense. Yeah. You look at Minot, like you said, you look at Century. It's just something that you have to do to win games around here.
Hey, folks, hope you are enjoying this episode. But support for Swim Lessons, the podcast, comes from Brandon Weber, your Edward Jones financial advisor at 1600 2nd Avenue Southeast, Minot, North Dakota. For more information, visit edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC. Your guys' transition offense is phenomenal, especially in this building that we're sitting in today. Transition-wise, is that something you're preaching? Hey, let's push the ball if it's there, or let's settle down. What's kind of your preaching here, your keys on offense?
It is. It's tempo. And, you know, it's something that we started the first day of practice. You know, we want to get the ball up the court. We want to get players to the corners, up the sidelines, and we want to get the ball to them. You know, that first day of practice, I put everyone on the sideline, and I said, okay, who's the fastest one here? And we got our fastest player. And I stood next to him, and I said, we're going to race to the half court line. And so I had our coach say, ready, set, go. That kid took off, and I threw a pass to half court. I said, well, which one got there first, the person or the ball? You can pass the ball up the court a lot faster than you can dribble it. So that's kind of the message that we send from day one, is that if someone is open ahead of you up the court, you have to get there. You have to get that ball to them. Yeah.
That is spot on.
Yep.
And I don't think enough coaches realize that. You know, it's a simple thing in basketball, very simple, the art of the pass, but it's so effective. I mean, I've watched you guys go up and down, and people like, oh, here comes Dickinson in their track meet, but it's really just, you guys aren't running too terribly much. You're just passing the ball up.
Right. And you know, and I think because of the fact that our players know that if they're open ahead of the ball, they're going to get the ball. Mm-hmm. So I think that also helps. You know, they want to get out and they want to run the court. They want to run the sideline. They want to run the corner, and because they know they're going to get it. Because if they don't, the person with the ball is probably going to hear it from me.
Yeah, exactly.
So they you know, I think it's both ways. It's the guys without the ball, and it's definitely the guy with the ball that needs to get rid of it and get it up the court.
You were telling me your dad was your coach for a few years. Now you get the opportunity to coach your older son who graduated, but now your middle son, Dylan, he's in the program. He's a junior, right?
Yep.
What's it like to coach your son?
You know, there's some trying times, I'll be honest with you. You know, I have so much feelings for this program. Obviously, you know, like we said, since second grade, I've been here because of this basketball program, and now I have the joy and opportunity to take it over. And you know, I feel like we have such great kids that I want them to be successful. Mm-hmm. You know, there was a lot of times when my oldest one was, you know, a sophomore or junior and starting for us, and unfortunately, I kind of took the basketball home. And that was a mistake on my part. And luckily, I have a great wife that brought that to my attention. And, you know, it's something that I learned that I haven't done with Dylan.
Yeah.
Just keep it in this gym. And you know, there's, like I said, they're trying to do everything they can. Mm-hmm. And it's not like they want to disappoint the team or disappoint themselves or disappoint me. You know, they don't want to miss a shot. They don't want to turn the ball over. So I think that's important to see. And, you know, if anything, help them out, you know, and that was kind of one regret that I had with Damon. When he was younger, I did improve a lot on it his senior year, and I enjoyed it a lot more. But those first couple of years on varsity with Damon, I didn't enjoy it, and that's a huge regret that I'll probably take with me for a long time. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't do it again. So yeah, it's definitely a learning experience. It's different. There's good and bad, you know, and kind of everything. So it kind of depends how you look at it. And I'm definitely blessed and fortunate to go through that with them. And so.
Well, not everybody gets to do that. I mean, even at a junior high level, but here you are at a big time varsity program and you get that chance.
Yes, definitely. And, you know, it is weird because it's not just your kid either. Right. You know, it's your kid's best friend. Mm-hmm. It's someone that stays over at your house during the summer. It's someone that you take trips with. It's you really you get close to the kids. You really do, and you have a lot of respect for them. You develop these relationships that you know, they're almost like your own sons, but it is different because it's not just some kid coming off the street that you're going to coach. Yeah. And it's kids that you spent time with, like I said, you take trips with, you just do a lot of different activities with that you develop really long-lasting relationships with.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, the reason I like your team is I really like the Stevenson kid. I thought against Minot, he had that kind of coming out party, if you will, 24 points. Yeah, he was the MVP of the game. But the Wolf kid, he's fantastic defensively. I've seen him come up with a lot of blocks. You've got this team right now with Dickinson High. They've kind of got this identity of a transition team. They'll play you face to face. But when we come towards the WDA, when this is going to come out, what would you like the identity of your team to be?
To be tough kids. That's what I want. I want, honestly, what I tell them at practice and what I tell them that push me is that I want them to be successful. I want other people to recognize that the WDA is also west of Bismarck. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we've been preaching for a while now, is that, unfortunately we, and maybe we don't deserve the recognition yet, but, we're a couple wins away from really being an impressive team. And I think, like we talked about that mental stage, like if we want to be included with those guys, eventually we have to get them and night in and night out, not just one night and then fall the next night, because once again, you're in the middle of the pack then. And I want people to recognize them as being successful and give them the credit that they deserve for the work that they put in. It's tough over here. If you think the WDA is fair, there's a lot of things that we go through that other teams don't.
Right.
Whether it's travel, for AAU or, like I said this morning, I had to go to a youth basketball meeting for our team, for our town. That I don't feel like other coaches in the WDA are starting up their own youth basketball programs because they have so many things to fall back on it, and it just maybe numbers wise, but that's what we're willing to do, and that's the work that we put in. And I just want them, to be able to see some success for the work that they have done.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, because as a head coach, no matter what level, and you got all these different things pulling you in different directions. Okay, now we're going to add on a youth level. Now we're going to talk about who's going to be the junior high coaches. What are we looking at C squad number wise? Are we going to have enough kids for a C squad? There's so many different things right now.
It's crazy. It's, I want us to be competitive in our league. And that's kind of the driving force of me starting a youth program 9 years ago and running that. Luckily now for the past couple of years, I've had some help, and I've been able to approach some people that have kind of taken it over. But, for 7 years there, I'm running my own youth program. I'm coaching, obviously up at the high school level. I'm worried about the junior high stuff, and it's very, very time consuming. It's tough. So, I do feel that we do have challenges that maybe, Minot High, the biggest school in Class A, probably doesn't have, or the capital city where they have the YMCA and they have all that stuff, and they're closer to the AAU stuff, and it just takes a little more effort and a little more time over here to try to get some little success.
Yeah, and the Dickinson program, I one kid that I was thinking about on my drive over here, Joe Hansted, Anand Mooney. You guys have had good players here. The Hansted kid was fantastic. He was one of the best scorers ever.
Yes.
Joe, and so there's some basketball history here, but like you said, yeah, and I never thought of that way, like the AA stuff and how, or the travel ball, and especially in Bismarck and Minot. But Minot right now, that's tough. They got Minot North. That's going to take some out of their program.
Yeah, and I guess only time will tell. Playing their freshmen and their sub-varsity teams, you always knew what you were going to get from Minot High, and I guess we'll wait and see. I don't have the knowledge and stuff to exactly say what it's going to be like. I there's obviously a ton of great basketball players in the Minot area, and something. And we have obviously great talent here, and we'll see what happens.
So when I first met you, I was coaching at New England with Luke Powers. Shout out Luke Powers. He wanted to make sure I said hi to you. He's the best. He's the best. So we're coaching at New England. In a lot of our big games, you were official at. So you reffed before you got into the head coaching job here at Dickinson. Your dad was a big time ref. But But Dan, it feels like right now officials, there's a little bit of a shortage of them, and it's tough. I mean, night in, night out, you're dealing with a big crowd. You got to do the girls' game, you got to do the boys' game. Sometimes you got to do a JV game before that. How can we, as a basketball community, be a little bit more nice to referees and also give them a little time? They're human beings, but because officials are tough to come by nowadays. So how can we kind of build up that part of things?
Yeah, and if we don't have people officiating the game,
you don't get to have a
what
game.
game are we going to have?
Yeah, you don't get to have a game.
You know, and I've really I took a huge step back in seeing that, to be honest with you, and the relationship that I've had with officials. You know, I did that for 5 years. I coached at Richardson for 7 years, and then I got out of it for a little bit, and I ref for 5 years. And like I said, I did it with my dad, and I think the best thing about being an official is the relationship that you build with the other officials, but also the coaches, and the players. And nowhere in there is a relationship with a fan. Right. You know, you may know a couple in the stands and stuff like that, and they know you, but they're human. They go home. You know, the thing about it is they might have a kid in the stands too.
I never thought of that.
And that's brutal. That's you got someone yelling at someone's dad.
Oh, man.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, you just, like I said, it's the big picture. I have never coached a perfect game. I've never played a perfect game. And refs are doing everything they can, just like the players are, just like the coaches are. And no one is perfect. Right. It's just that there's a kind of more magnified, you know. We expect a player to miss a shot. We don't expect a player to miss, or a ref to miss a call. Like, why is that? You know, there's not going to be perfection on any level of any game. So I think just kind of the expectations and just the idea of them, you know, they're not coming to Dickinson. They're not driving this way to try and mess up a game.
Right.
They're doing it for the coaches. They're doing it for the kids. And, you know, that's why I refed, and that's what we need to look at it as, because I'm afraid where we're heading, to be honest with you.
Me too.
So we got great ones right now, and we're going to try to keep them around, keep them happy. And it is a pressurized job, right? Occupation. And, you know, it's not their main job either. You know, they leave their job to go drive somewhere to go ref. You know, they've already spent a full day at work. And the crazy thing about it, like, you know, I'd go ref a game over in Beach or something, and I might not have had the best day at work.
Yeah.
Like, things go wrong at work. And to be able to drop all that and do your best reffing, that's a tough thing to do, because the expectations that might be on you. But they had no idea what you did that whole day.
Right.
That whole day of work. They just know what you did in that 90 minutes that you were out on the court. And it's tough. It's definitely not for everyone. But the appreciation level has to be there.
Yeah, 1,000%. And there was a call last night that I had learned about in the off season, and that was the flop. The flop call. First one's a warning.
Yep.
Second one's a technical, and that gets called last night. First time I've seen it called. What's your thoughts on the flop rule?
I think something had to be done.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you have a new rule in place, there's obviously going to be some bumps in the road. But like I had to ask the official last night on the second flop, which the technical happened. Like, is that a personal foul then? And it's not a personal foul, so
just a technical.
Just a technical.
Okay.
It goes against the team, and the play, because the warning could have been in some other player, and then the second one is the technical, but it was two different players that did that, so that kind of made sense to me. But you know, once again, thank God the ref knows everything, and not the coach that is supposed to know the rules too. So sometimes in our league with the charges, I think that, it's pretty impressive when a team can take 6 or 7 charges in a game. Like, is that really?
Are they all?
Right. Is that where we're going? And then, so it's nice that if a kid, and I think some of it might have to do with injury too. A kid falls down and pretends to take a charge and he's on the floor, and then some other kid comes flying across in the air.
Twists an ankle.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's what they're trying to get rid of is don't be rolling on the floor when there's no reason for you to be down there.
Yeah, because just for everybody listening, so the first one was on a charge. Kid flopped on the charge. The second one came, kid shoots the 3 and then falls over, and that's when they called the technical.
Yeah.
Which was, I had a lot of officials that are friends of mine that were watching the broadcast on PSP Network, and they text me like, hey, what timestamp was that at? So I try to tell them. So just about, I think, every official in the state rewatched that.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to prepare themselves. Think of this, Dan. If that happens in a big-time game in one of these tournaments, that's going to be insane.
It is, yes. And to be honest with you, the bad thing about it is that we're just putting another thing on the officials' plate.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was just going to say.
I mean, so a kid falls after he shoots a 3-point shot. And before, the ref didn't have to even think about anything. Obviously, there's no contact, so I'm not going to call a foul. Now, there's a whole nother thought process. There's just another thing that they need to determine. And that's the thing that I don't like about it, is that it puts one more thing on the ref's plate, and they, like we talked about, they got enough to worry about. So yeah, but I hope it doesn't come down to that. That's for sure.
There's something that I ask coaches too when I'm thinking about it, because I love the game of basketball, but you get the feeling right now that big schools are getting bigger, small schools are getting smaller. You spent a lot of time at Richardson. You started out in New England. How can we, the 3-class system is a good call, but how can we as a basketball community make sure that the kids are staying out for basketball? The kids aren't realizing, oh, hey, Jeremy Brandt, longtime Beulah coach, he had a great point. He told me, sometimes kids look at their buddy and their buddy's going to play like 50 games in the summer, and they're shooting on the front driveway. They're working on their game. Like, man, the kid's probably thinking, I'm getting left in the dust here.
Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't even go out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's how sometimes kids think in today's day and age. So what can we do as a basketball community to make sure kids stay involved in the game and they keep going?
That's a great point, is the playing field level. There are so many opportunities for kids to go out and play and improve on their game. And, there's a lot of things kids can do, that choices that they can make that don't make them better in basketball. So I think it's important to understand. It's one thing that I kind of drive towards our middle school kids, is that there's one basketball. And if one kid wants to go play 50 games, let them do that. You can still play basketball, because there's still plenty of things that you can do to help the team. And I think that gets lost in the mix. Like, if I can't shoot a 3 and make 7 out of 10 threes, I can't be on the team. And that's not true. That's not the case. That's, there's so many great players in this league that, I call them
glue guys.
Glue guys that just bring their cooler, and they show up to work, and they do exactly what they need to do. And you cannot have enough of those.
Right.
This is my 17th year of coaching or something like that. Like, I remember those guys from our teams that helped us be successful. Like, those are the guys that you need. There's one ball. One guy can shoot it. We can get that guy open. We need the other 4 guys to do certain things also. I think we're right now with our team right now, we got 5 guys that are averaging 9 points or more. The ball is going to get spread around. You're going to get your chance. And if you can't, we got a guy that comes off the bench that rides bulls.
Really?
Yes.
Which one is that?
Tatum Bollinger.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Tatum.
I mean, little Tatum is probably the toughest guy I've ever coached, and he is not. He'll guard anyone. He'll never say a word.
He's a pesky defender.
Oh
too.
my gosh, he's he's special. But he's a kid right there that he's not going to AAU.
Right.
He's not going to. He's done some travel ball with us, but he's missed practice on Saturday because he's riding bulls in some indoor arena, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
That's what he loves. He loves to do something else, but he also wants to do this. And without him, he's only a junior too. So he's had some great games. I think I can't remember. He had a 14-point game again. That was here. I don't remember who that was against, but those are the kids.
Yeah.
And no AAU, no summer ball, no stuff like that. Go do what you love. When it's basketball season, come out here and give everything you got. And that's the only thing he knows. So it's easy for him to do that.
Yeah.
But I think that's the important message that we have to send to kids. Yes, some kids will do that. Okay. But we're a team. And all of our kids don't go play AAU. Some do. I coach it. I like it. I like traveling. I like making new relationships with people. It is a costly thing to do, but it's probably something that I'll continue to do because I enjoy doing it. But it isn't for everyone.
Right.
And there's so many different personalities throughout this school and community, and not all of them are basketball first, but you can definitely be team first. And those are the kids that I think complete, the team that have those important roles.
Man, that's a great quote there. I'm going to have to clip that one. That was great, Coach. As you come down, this is going to come out right before the WDA tournament. We're calling it Champion Week here in swim lessons. What is going to be your message to the team when you get on the bus? Take me right now into your mind as a head coach of a team that's kind of, I don't know if flying under the radar is a good way to put it, but you are. And you've got this really good team. We talked about kind of, I've watched you guys a lot this year, and I think one of the things that you guys have that not everybody else has is you've got these pesky defenders that come off the bench, like the Bollinger, like the Daychild, like the what's the Jack kid's last name? Hammond. Like Hammond.
Yep.
He can come off the bench and they can guard anybody, and that's frustrating because there's fresh legs. That's gonna be frustrating for the Nistleys, for Parker Falcon, for all these players, for Eric Winchesky. What's going to be your message, though? Take me to you walking on the bus. You go to the Civic Center, your first game. Take me there now.
Let's prove to everyone what we can do. That's it. I want people to recognize these kids. I want them to know that they have done everything they possibly can to be successful, and they deserve it. You guys have done what your coaches have asked you to, and you're talented enough and good enough to be successful, so go do it. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that is holding us back besides ourselves, and that's where we're at right now. So it's up to us to take that next step, and I think that we have the capability of doing it. It's a matter of if they can understand that psychologically.
Well, I mean, you've proven it. I mean, you beat Minot twice. You played right with Century. You played right with Legacy. You're right there. You're right there.
Yeah.
I mean, but on the other, to play devil's advocate, so is everybody else. You know, I mean, everybody else has played really even, and I am looking so much forward to the WDA tournament. It's going to be all on that PSP network. Really excited to be part of that broadcast team. But Coach, a question I ask every one of my guests is: Swim Lessons is a podcast about overcoming tough times. What's something that you yourself personally say to yourself when you're kind of in that dark room trying to fight through a few things, and you got to get up and work through it?
Well, I was there this morning.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is going to be aired later, but we played Legacy at home, and they get us, and we're turning the ball over, and we're missing shots, and I'm laying in my bed watching SVU Special Victims till midnight, and
the best show ever, by the way.
And wake up at 4, and And but it's something, like I said, big picture wise, I go to school, mess around with all my middle school kids at Phi Ed class, and be able to enjoy them, and then we get to have practice.
Yeah.
I can't lose focus of that. I can't lose focus on how special these kids are. Yes, it stinks losing. They're not trying to do that. They want to win just as bad as I do. And they're going to come back and fight harder for us to try to do that. That doesn't happen all the time. And it happens with this group. So I think, like you said, that the dark times, they are dark, but you're spending those dark times with special people. And that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, it takes a village. And Phil Jackson, right?
Oh, yeah.
He always, and this is my favorite quote by him, he always talks about the art of winning is in the journey. So, this is everybody knows basketball season's very long.
Yeah.
Football coaches, they've got it tough, don't get me wrong, but high school coaches, it's a pretty short season. It's month and a half maybe? Yeah. Basketball is the whole long, grueling winter. Yeah. So, the art of it is in the journey, and I think you guys are well on your way. I wish you the best, Coach.
Well, thank you. It's we talk about all those different levels.
Yeah.
Every game, every week, every month, what level are you on? Are you raising that level? And hopefully we're doing that.
I think you will. I got you in my top 4, so that's my top 4. I really appreciate the time. I know, you and I met here at 7:30 in the morning. You had a game last night, so it means a lot to be able to do this. And give us a quick plug, though. Where can people follow Dickinson basketball, and what's a good thing you want people to check out?
Oh, heck, we got Twitter, we got Facebook. One thing we've been lucky with you is PSP.
Yeah.
We talk about getting our kids some recognition and being recognized. The only time we only get PSP before is hopefully they did it when we played Bismarck or Legacy, because it seemed like they get it every night. And now we're lucky enough to have you, and we thank you for that, for doing that, because you're
welcome. It's fun.
One of the best. So
appreciate that.
Yeah. So follow PSP. Get those postseason packages PSP that you guys have.
Right now,
those are awesome.
$54.99.
That's unreal.
That's unreal. And it's going to go up here in the next few days.
And it's multi-sport, right?
Yeah, it's both boys and girls WDA, and then you've got 4 district and regional tournaments for Class B and Class A. So you get, I think it's around 80 games.
Yeah, and all the different divisions and everything.
Yeah, it's the best of all worlds. But I will say there's something special. I'm a Class B guy.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yep.
I love the State B, and I've always been a State B guy. But 2 years ago, I go to the WDA tournament, and I'm like, this is right there with the State B. It's so fun.
It is. It's
because you got the main floor at the Civic Center,
yep,
and then you got the other floor,
yep,
and there's 2 games always going on, and they're highly, highly competitive. And we talk about the boys in the WDA being good. Girls is very good.
Oh, yeah.
Minot High's right now, they're at the top, but we watched Legacy last night. They've got great. The Felkley girl's good.
Yeah.
She had 47.
I know.
And then there's a lot of good teams in the WDA.
Mandan's good.
Mandan's good.
Bismarck High's pesky.
Yeah.
It's Williston's turning it on.
Here comes Jacob Broughton.
Yeah.
I'm going to interview him this afternoon. I was the biggest doubter, and I'm going to tell Jacob this. I coached Easton when he had Trinity Christian. He was a Crusaders boys basketball coach.
Yep.
And I read on Facebook, he's leaving. He's like, I'm going to leave. I'm going to take the Williston High job. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's going to be tough. But here he comes. They're right there. They're in 4th or 5th place.
And young,
freshman, sophomore.
Jeez.
It's insane, and it's great to see. Yeah. But it's if you're listening to this, you're not sure, and you're even out of the state, check out the WDA tournament. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. And we appreciate the coverage. We really do.
Yeah, well, it's fun. It's been a pleasure to cover you. I'm going to let you get to school now, but Coach Glauser, thank you so much for the time, and I wish you the best of luck the rest of the way.
All right, I appreciate it.
That's a wrap, Coach Glauser.